In the today's session, we are going to discuss the polymer properties. Before designing of any of the controlled drug delivery system, the formulation scientists should aware about the all the polymer properties. Then and then only it is possible to select the specific polymer for the drug delivery system. So let us see the polymer properties. We are going to discuss the molecular weight and molecular weight distribution. It is one of the important polymer property which will give us the idea about its selection in the suitable drug delivery system. The second property which we are going to discuss, that is the polymer hydrophobicity. Whether the polymer is hydrophilic, hydrophobic, water soluble, or it is going to form a hydrogel. Then one of the very important property of polymer, that is the glass transition temperature. Generally we are using the polymer below glass transition temperature or above glass transition temperature. It is possible to decrease the glass transition temperature by addition of the certain other excipients into the polymer. Then furthermore, we are going to discuss the crystallinity of the polymer, whether it is a crystalline, and how the crystalline nature of polymer it is going to affect its properties. Then we are going to discuss the viscosity of the polymer, then the solubility of the polymer, then the syneresis of the polymeric gel, then the polymer complex. Polymer is having an ability to form a complex with the certain ions or maybe with the drug, and how it is important in the drug delivery system. Then we are going to discuss the interaction of polymer with the solvent, how the polymer is going to be interacted with the solvent. Generally hydrogen bonding, which is responsible and which will help the polymer to solubilize into the given solvent, or which will help to swell the polymer in a given solvent. Then we are going to discuss the polymer dissolution, polymer erosion, then the adsorption of macromolecules, which is very important in the case of suspensions or emulsions. When we are formulating the suspensions or emulsion, adsorption of macromolecules at the interface, it is a very important property, and which will decide the stability of these liquid formulations. Then we are going to discuss the bioadhesivity of the water soluble polymer or mucoadhesivity of the polymer. So these are the few important properties which we are going to discuss. So let us see one by one the polymer properties. Very first important parameter, that is the molecular weight and molecular weight distribution. Generally the molecular weight, it is expressed in the number average molecular weight, that is a Mn. So it is determined by calculating the total molecular weight of monomer and total number of monomers present in it. So it can be calculated by using the formula, that is the Mn, a number average molecular weight, is equal to summation NIMI divided by summation Ni, where the Mi is the total molecular weight of monomer, Ni is the number of monomer molecules, and Mn is a number average molecular weight. So it is possible to express the molecular weight in the number average molecular weight, that is Mn. It is determined by calculating the total molecular weight of the monomer and total number of monomer. So Mn is equal to summation Ni divided by summation Ni. There is another way is there to get the idea about molecular weight, that is the Mw, a weight average molecular weight. That is Mw is equal to summation Ni divided by summation Ni, where Mw is a weight average molecular weight, Mi is the total molecular weight of monomer, Ni is the number of monomer molecules, isn't it? So it is possible to get the idea about molecular weight by determining a number average molecular weight, that is Mn, or a weight average molecular weight Mw. It is molecular weight of the any of the polymer. It is the important. It is one of the important parameter which will decide the polymer properties. If the polymer is having a low molecular weight, in such cases we are getting the less mechanical properties. It is possible to correlate the molecular weight of the polymer with respect to its molecular mechanical properties. Mechanical properties of a given polymer generally increases with an increase in a molecular weight. So as the molecular weight of the polymer gets increased, automatically its mechanical properties gets increased. So this is about the molecular weight and molecular weight distribution. It is determined as a number average molecular weight or a weight average molecular weight, isn't it? As we are increasing the molecular weight of the polymer, the mechanical properties gets increased. The graph of tensile strength versus the number average molecular weight of polystyrene. This is a Mn. So here on the y-axis it's a tensile strength, and on x-axis it's a number average molecular weight. So look at the graph carefully. As the molecular weight of the polymer gets increased, the tensile strength of the polymer, it is also going to be increased. So in this way we are getting the graph. So as the molecular weight increases, rises, that is the number average molecular weight of the polystyrene, the tensile strength of polymer gets increased. So molecular weight, it affects the polymer properties. Here in this case, the question in mind, why there is a rise in the mechanical properties or the tensile strength of the polymer. The important thing is that how the polymeric chains are entangled with each other. That is very important. As there is a increase in a molecular weight of the polymer, the chain length gets increased, and there may be the more and more and more molecular entanglements, and which increases the tensile strength of polymer. That is the very important thing, isn't it? Here you are observing the entanglements I have shown in the graph, inset of graph. See here the entanglements are shown. I have shown here the entanglements and how the polymer chains gets entangled with the another polymeric chain, and that will also increases the strength of the polymer. So by increasing, if there is a rise in the molecular weight of the polymer, there may be the rise in the molecular entanglements of the chains, and that will increase the tensile strength of the polymer or mechanical properties of the polymers, isn't it? Then the question in mind, what is mean by tensile strength, isn't it? So tensile strength, it is the maximum load that a material can support without fracture when being stretched divided by the original cross sectional area of the material, that is known as the tensile strength. So molecular weight or molecular weight distribution, it is one of the important parameter. It is possible to get the idea about the molecular weight by determining the number average molecular weight and weight average molecular weight. As there is a rise in the molecular weight of the polymer, the mechanical property of the polymer gets increased due to the molecular entanglements. So molecular entanglements increases as a molecular weight increases, which increases the tensile strength of polymer. So that is the one of the important thing which affects the polymer properties, isn't it? Let us move towards the next property. Let us move towards the polymer hydrophobicity. So all of you are aware about the term hydrophobicity, isn't it? That is a, whether it is a lipophilic, whether it is a hydrophilic, whether it is a hydrophobic. Likewise, here we are going to discuss the one of the important property, that is the polymer hydrophobicity. As we are discussing the polymers in relation with the controlled drug delivery system. So when the controlled drug delivery system exposes the polymers to aqueous environment and which absorbs the water. So when suppose that we have prepared the controlled drug delivery system, or we are preparing by using the polymers only, and when we are exposing such a drug delivery system to the dissolution medium or the aqueous medium, it absorbs the enormous water. Depending on that will be decided by the hydrophilicity or hydrophobicity of the specific polymer. It is not going to be decided by the API or the other excipients which are present in the formulation, present in the controlled drug delivery system. So how the polymer is going to be interacted with the solvent, that is very important. Sometimes the polymer absorbs the water, it gets dissolved. Sometimes it absorbs the water, there may be the formation of a gel layer, it gets swelled, isn't it? So the nature of water, polymer water interactions furthermore classified into the hydrophobic polymer, hydrophilic polymer, water soluble polymer, and hydrogels. So let us see once again the polymer hydrophobicity. Polymer hydrophobicity, it is one of the important parameter, one of the important property which will decide the use of polymer in the controlled drug delivery system. Suppose that we have prepared the controlled drug delivery system by using the polymer, and when we are exposing such system to the aqueous medium or the dissolution medium, depending on their affinity towards the solvent, it absorbs the water or it may get swelled, isn't it? The polymer and the water interactions, these are the very important in the controlled drug delivery system, because that will decide the release of drug from the dosage form. According to the nature of polymer water interactions, the polymers can be furthermore classified into the hydrophobic polymer, hydrophilic polymer, water soluble polymer, and hydrogels. In order to understand how the hydrophobicity is going to affect the designing of drug delivery system, there is a need to understand all these things, that is a hydrophobic polymers, hydrophilic polymers, water soluble polymers, and the hydrogel. So let us see one by one. The very first, the hydrophobic polymer. So the hydrophobic polymer itself, name indicates that hydrophobic. Whether it is water loving, no. It is impermeable to the water. Impermeable to the water. The water absorption in the case of hydrophobic polymer, it is less than 5%. This is not a standard, it's a general criteria which I have adapted from the research article. When these hydrophobic polymers having the certain properties like chain stiffness, it is chains are very stiff in nature, then it consists of high degree of crystallinity. That is again a very important parameter related with the hydrophobic polymer, and there is the presence of highly hydrophobic group like a CF, for example PEG-PLA, polyethylene glycol polylactic acid, isn't it? So the hydrophobic polymer itself, name indicate that it is a hydrophobic in nature. It consists of the hydrophobic groups, the major groups which are present in the hydrophobic polymers, these are the hydrophobic groups like a CF. It is these polymers are generally water impermeable. The water absorption, it is less than 5% in the case of hydrophobic polymers, and it has a certain properties like chain stiffness, then high degree of crystallinity, and presence of highly hydrophobic group. Here one of the important thing is that the nature of the polymer, as I have said that here it's a high degree of crystallinity, means these polymers are crystalline in nature, isn't it? They are arranged in the there is a specific order, so as to it is having a limited solubility or limited dissolution in the specific solvent. So this is about the hydrophobic polymers. Let us move towards the hydrophilic polymers. So what are the hydrophilic polymers? As itself name suggests that these are the hydrophilic in nature. They are permeable to the water molecules. In this case, the water absorption is more than 5%. The structural properties of these polymers, that is a chain flexibility, that is one of the important. In the case of hydrophobic, chains are not flexible. Here the absence of crystallinity, there is again second important property, and it consists of the groups like amino, carboxyl, hydroxyl. For example, carboxymethyl cellulose. It consists of carboxyl group. So this is a polymer which is permeable to the water, and water absorption, it is more than 5% in the case of CMC, and hence it is categorized under the hydrophilic polymer. So hydrophilic polymers are those polymers which are hydrophilic in nature. They are water permeable, water absorption is more than 5%. Structure, it has properties like chain flexibility, absence of crystallinity, presence of amino, carboxyl and hydroxyl groups in the polymer, for example carboxymethyl cellulose. So let us move towards the water soluble polymer. So water soluble polymer itself indicate that these polymers are soluble in the water. For example, pullulan. Pullulan, it is a highly water soluble. The yet another example, polyvinyl alcohol, polyvinyl pyrrolidine, PEO, polyacrylic acid, PAA. So these are the polymers which are water soluble. Water soluble polymers have capacity to increase the viscosity. When we are dissolving the water soluble polymer in the solvent, in the water or in the dissolution medium, it increases the viscosity of the solvent. They are having the ability to swell or change the shapes in the solution and adsorb at the surface. So this is about the water soluble polymers. The water soluble polymer itself, name suggests that these polymers are soluble in a water. Water soluble polymers have capacity to increase the viscosity of solvents. It may get swell or change the shapes in a solution and adsorb at the surface. For example, pullulan, polyvinyl alcohol, PVP, PEO, PAA. So this is about the water soluble polymers. Let us see the hydrogels. So hydrogels, these are the cross-linked polymers, and they are highly hydrophilic in nature, and maybe sometimes they are water soluble. they are cross-linked by the covalent bonds, and they're having the ability to absorb enormous water and gets swelled For example, cross-linked CMC. That is cross-linking of CMC. It is done by, for example, citric acid. So hydrogels are the hydrophilic polymers. They are water soluble, and when cross-linked, they are having the ability to absorb the enormous water and gets swell. So this concept, that is the absorption of water into the system, is used to load the drug into the specific hydrogel. Suppose that we have prepared the film of hydrogel, isn't it? Then we have to suppose to place this film into the drug solution. So automatically drug gets loaded into the hydrogel, and then dry the film, and furthermore process it and apply onto the specific area, for example onto the wounds. So hydrogels are the highly hydrophilic water soluble polymers. These are cross-linked by the covalent bond. There are so many cross-linkers are available, so it is possible to get the hydrogels. They are having a ability to absorb enormous water, and it gets swelled. For example, cross-linked CMC, cross-linked carboxymethyl cellulose. Yes, let us move towards the very important property of the polymer. As you know that the polymers are classified as a crystalline and amorphous according to their state. Generally, there are very few crystalline polymers are available. Very few. They are totally crystalline in nature. When the polymer it is exist in the crystalline in nature, it is having a sharp melting point, isn't it? It is having a sharp melting point, as like the APIs, as like the drug, depending upon their solid state. But in more than 90% of cases, these polymers are exist in the amorphous form. They are exist in the amorphous form. An amorphous polymer exists in the glassy state. Say for example, here I have shown one picture. Say this is a hardened pot, and how it looks, it's like a glassy state, and there is a no molecular motion. So whether there is any molecular motion in this pot when it is hardened, no molecular motion. Amorphous polymers, these are exist in the glassy states, and they don't have the molecular motion, and it is characterized by the hardness, stiffness, and brittleness, isn't it? When we are increasing the temperature, here just I have taken this figure as an example. So when we are heating this polymer, or when the temperature is raised, polymer undergo the transition, that is from glassy to rubbery. The molecules becomes a mobile in nature. They becomes a soft, isn't it? So as temperature is raised, polymer undergoes a transition. That specific temperature here in the graph, look at the graph which is plotted as a log E to the temperature. Say this is the glassy state. When the polymer is heated, the molecule becomes a mobile, and there is a transition, and this particular point that is known as the glass transition temperature, and it gets converted to the rubbery, flexible, and plastic in nature, isn't it? So when we are increasing the temperature of amorphous polymers exist in the glassy state and no molecular motion, as shown in the figure. When we are heating such polymers, it undergoes the transition, and that is known as the glass transition temperature, that is a TG, and it becomes a glassy state, becomes a rubbery, or it's a flexible, or the plastic in nature. So that is about the glass transition temperature. There are so many factors which are going to affect the glass transition temperature. For example, the chain flexibility or the rigidity. It is one of the important factor. If the chains are not flexible and it's a rigid in nature, such polymers are having the high Tg. Then the steric effects, there are so many bulky groups which are present on the polymer and which is having a steric effect and which will alter the glass transition temperature. Then the intermolecular forces, again it is one of the important parameters. So how the molecules are going to be interacted or these intermolecular forces, these are going to also affect the glass transition temperature. Then the copolymerization, then cross-linking and crystallinity and the plasticizer. Presence of plasticizer decreases the glass transition temperature. If the polymer is cross-linked and it is crystalline in nature, again the glass transition temperature, it is going to be increased. So the polymer undergoes the changes in the properties when we are heating the polymer and there is a conversion of glassy, which is the hard, which is a stiff and brittle, into the rubbery, flexible or plastic. There is a change in the polymer properties like permeability, then the heat content, then the refractive index, as well as the hardness. And that is very important thing, whether to use the polymer below glass transition temperature or the above glass transition temperature. That should be decided by the formulation scientist depending on the controlled drug delivery system, which type of controlled drug delivery system it is going to be formulated. So glass transition temperature, generally polymers are exist in the either crystalline or amorphous form. Crystalline forms are having the sharp melting point, and the amorphous polymers which are exist in the glassy state with no molecular motion, like this spot. The glassy state, it is characterized by the hardness, which are hard in nature, which are stiff and brittle. When we are increasing the temperature, it undergoes a transition, and that is known as the glass transition temperature, that is the Tg. So it gets converted into the glassy to rubbery, which is a flexible and plastic, and it is having a along with this change, the polymer properties are also going to be changed, like permeability, heat content, refractive index, and hardness, isn't it? There are so many factors are there which are going to affect the glass transition temperature of polymer, amorphous polymers. There is a chain flexibility and rigidity, steric effects, intermolecular forces, copolymerization, cross-linking and crystallinity, and the plasticizers, use of plasticizers in the formulation. Yes. So just now we have discussed the glass transition temperature. Let us move towards the crystallinity. As I have said that the polymer exists in the crystalline and amorphous form. The crystalline, purely crystalline form of polymer, it is not available, or the polymers, it is having the crystalline domains in their structure. Look at the figure here. It's a polymer. Whatever the irregular arrangements are there, it is these are the amorphous region, and the regular arrangement, it's a regular structure is there, it's a crystalline domains. So polymer have, if the polymer have the regular structure, there is a regular polymer packing of the chain and it gets crystallizes. If this total system, it is having a regular structure, there is a regular packing arrangement of chain, and total polymer becomes a crystalline, isn't it? The driving force for crystallization is the closer packing and the intermolecular attractions. These are the very important things. The polymer exhibit crystallinity in the domains that occurs within the amorphous polymer. As I have said that more than 90% of cases, the polymer, it consists of the It is amorphous. It consists of amorphous domains as well as the crystalline domains. And crystalline domains decides its solubility. It decides the permeability of solvent into the polymer. It decides the swelling of the polymer. It is going to act as the crosslinks for the polymer, and it affects the further properties of the polymer. So the polymer exhibit crystallinity in the domains that occurs within the amorphous polymer. So this is the amorphous polymer, and amorphous polymer consists of the sum of the crystalline domains which are arranged regularly, regular pattern. So these crystalline regions are going to act as a crosslinks which makes the polymer stiff and tough, and which reduces the swelling of the polymer. So these crystalline regions are impermeable to the diffusing molecules. So enhancing the crystallinity of the polymer, which decreases the polymer permeability. As in the controlled drug delivery system, when we are choosing the polymer, if the polymer consists of the high crystalline domains, that will definitely affect the swelling of the polymer, that will definitely affect the permeability of the molecules, that will definitely affect the dissolution of the polymer. So these crystalline regions are impermeable to the water molecules. Then what is meant by the crystallinity? So just now we have talked about the crystallinity. So crystallinity defines the degree of long range order in a material and strongly affects its properties. The more the crystalline a polymer, more regularly aligned its chains. Look at the figure. Increasing the degree of crystallinity increases the hardness and the density. If the polymers are crystalline in nature, they are having a regular structure with a regular packing of the chains, and it gets crystallizes. Less than 1% of polymers are available as a pure crystalline form, and polymer which contains amorphous domains as well as the crystalline domains. Here the driving force for crystallization is a closure, packing arrangement, and intermolecular attractions between the chains. The polymer exhibits crystallinity in a domains that occurs within the amorphous polymer. So this is the amorphous polymer, and which contains the crystalline domains. These crystalline regions acts as a crosslinks which makes the polymer as a stiff or tough, and which reduces the swelling of the polymer. Crystalline regions are impermeable to the diffusing molecules, and as the crystallinity gets increased, the polymer permeability is going to be decreased. These crystalline regions are impermeable to the water molecule.